Today I want to share with you my 8 VS Code tricks for maximum efficiency. Trick number 1 is to quick open files. On Mac it's Command P, and on Windows and Linux it is Control P. So you just press that and you're able to browse all of your files right here and search them by typing in some letters. So if I want to open the polyfill.ts, I'll just type in poly and press enter. So that is tip number 1. Quick open files using Command P or Control P. Trick number 2 is if you press Command Shift P, or if you're on Windows, Control Shift P, then you can see all of the commands available for you inside of VS Code, including my favorite, the help. So if I just click on this, or the hotkey is Command K followed by Command R, clicking on that will show me all the keyboard shortcuts in this nice PDF right here. Tip number 3 is you can configure any of your settings you want inside of the settings file. On Mac you press Command comma, and on Windows and Linux you press Control comma. And inside of here you can configure the entire editor to do whatever you want, configure the tab size, and so forth. There are many options in here and you can change any of them. So just knowing about this and being able to access it quickly using Command comma or Control comma, that'll save you a lot of time. Trick number 4 I have for you guys is actually inside of the settings file itself, and search for show tabs. Alright, so this setting right here, I always like this turned off, and I'm going to give an argument for why. Alright, and I realize that this is a little bit preferential, but let me show you an example. So I'm going to turn it on, which it is on by default, and you can see here I have all these files open right here, and just the more files I open up, the bigger this list gets up here, and it can get quite unwieldy and like the whole thing scrolls. And if you want, you can keep it this way, but my preference for productivity is to go into the settings and search for show tabs and set this to off, and that way only the currently open file will be shown right here. So if I click on this file over here, it is shown up there and there's no more tabs. And now you might be wondering, well, how do I get to previously accessed files? Well, that is my trick number 5 for you guys. Trick number 5 is to hold down Control and tap on Tab, and then that will open up the previously opened file. And you can see as long as I have Control held down, and then I press Tab, and then I let go of Tab, but Control is still held down, then I can see all of the previously opened files. So with Control held down, I can just keep pressing Tab and I can navigate through the previously opened files. And I can even go backwards using Shift Tab. So this is how I like to access my previously opened files, as opposed to having them all open all the time up here on the navigation header. I find it a little disorienting. And then when I want to switch files, I simply press Control, then tap Tab, and then release when I'm ready to go to that file. Trick number 6 for you guys is to open up the terminal using Control backtick. Alright, and that is a toggle, so I can press it once again to close it. But when I have it open, I have access to the terminal where I can type in things like ls and pwd. And so quick access to the terminal is very important, because oftentimes in our project we need to run things like ngserve and so forth. So it's great to have a quick terminal shortcut to quickly open up the terminal like so. Now, while we have this terminal open, let's go on to trick number 7. And trick number 7 is to quickly jump to different errors. But first, let's just create an error in my project. I'm going to go in here and then remove a parentheses right here. So now you can see I have an error in here. And let's also create an error here as well. So now I have 2 errors in my project. I'm going to go ahead and save. And then I'm going to jump to a different file, just to illustrate my point. So with those 2 errors in my project, I can press F8 and then I will immediately jump to the first error it finds. And I can press F8 once again and it will keep cycling through these errors. I can also press Shift F8 and that will navigate backwards as well. So I can just fix these up nice and quick like that. And now we're back to a fully functional project. Now tip number 8 I have for you guys is a little bit more advanced, but let's hop over to the extensions and search for Vim. And I'll click on the first result here. This extension right here, Vim, VSCode Vim. This one is an emulator for Vim inside of VSCode. Now, for those of you not familiar with Vim, it is a way of moving around the cursor inside of the text editor without using the mouse, which is super handy. And so this is a great Vim emulator for VSCode. I highly recommend it. Let me just give you a quick demo like this. So if I go into one of my files here, you can see that my cursor is represented as a block as opposed to something more like this, kind of a blinking, well, I actually have blinking turned off, but like the typical insert and delete cursor. This is the Vim cursor. It is a full block, and I'm able to move it around using H, J, K, and L. Okay, so I'm not even touching the mouse right now, and I'm moving the cursor around. I'm not going to give you a full Vim tutorial, but I can do quite a lot of fancy things, like I can copy and paste lines, I can jump around words, and I can delete entire lines and select multi-lines like that. So if you guys are wanting a full video on Vim, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed these 8 tips for maximum productivity in VS Code. These are the ones I use on a day-to-day basis, so be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.